Mom always told me, if you don't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Well,
We're
if you don't
breaking
got anything nice to say it anyway. People need to hear the truth.
What's up, guys? I'm Grant.
I'm Nick
And welcome back. This is episode 3.
of the Flights Canceled podcast.
We're already starting it off with the bang.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Last week we put up another questionnaire. Just, asking you guys what you want to hear about. And so today we are going to be talking about...
Two things, actually.
Yeah, a few things, not just one.
First thing we'll talk about is we've got turkey season approaching very soon.
Yes.
Me personally, actually, I can speak for both of us.
Yeah, you can.
Not very experienced turkey hunters. But
No.
we have all the equipment to do it.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, if you guys have any tips you'd like to give us, leave them down in the comments. Also, if you'd like to see some turkey hunting content, also let us know.
Let us know via DM or in the comments. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's something I definitely want to try this year.
Yeah.
I went out like once last year, didn't have any luck. I mean, I was hunting on public land. I barely scouted, which I know that's no good.
That's our biggest no-no.
But, I mean, yeah, it's something I definitely want to try. I have all the equipment to do it. I feel like I know enough about it to set myself up pretty well. I just don't have like the experience, of doing it for years and years and years. Like some people I know do. Some people, turkey hunting is their favorite form of hunting.
Yep.
And I want to see what it's all about. I want to give it a go and see what I can do this year.
Yep.
So I think we could make some sweet content out of it. This duck season is over. We're probably going to say that every episode until the duck season's back. We're just going to rant and talk about how season's over.
How dreadful it
is. And the depression it brings along with it. But yeah, I think we should give turkey hunting a try this year. Make some cool content out of it.
So for sure, if you guys want to see some, let us know. Because we would love to give it our best shot.
Yep.
And take you guys along for the journey.
Good old turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
the full course entree for this episode is the 5 sins of duck hunting.
I don't think that was epic enough.
The 5 sins of public duck hunting. So the full course entree for this episode is going to be...
I'm just going to cut to a cool graphic. Okay, before we start, this is not meant to offend any... No, you know what? It might be.
It might be.
It might be. Maybe sometimes you just need a splash of cold water on your face to wake up. So that's what we're here for.
My mom always told me, if you don't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Well, if you don't got anything nice to say it anyway. People need to hear the truth.
No, but for real, I personally... I try to avoid these. I don't think I've really committed any of these recently, but I have before.
Yeah.
Before I was experiencing, before I really knew what I was doing. So if you are new to this sport,
sure.
if you are new to this, this isn't bashing you for something you have done. Mm-hmm. It's just we're kind of here to give you guidelines on how to be courteous, when you're out public hunting where there are other hunters. So, with that being said, we're going to get into this.
The first thing would probably be the worst thing, and that is not understanding people's personal space. So, if I'm set up on a little 20 by 20 foot hole of water, I don't think that somebody should come and set up 5 feet next to me.
Oh, yeah. But
we've had it happen.
There are some people that feel the need to do that.
But we have had that happen.
Yeah, exactly. There have been quite a few times this year where I set up somewhere on public land and, wouldn't you know it? 5 minutes before shooting light, here comes Billy,
Joe,
and John. And
exactly.
And they set up 20 yards away from me, downwind.
Mm-hmm.
So upwind, it's not as big of a deal. If someone's setting up with me, if someone's setting up close to me upwind, I'm not as upset. I'm still upset if they're within like 100 yards.
But I mean, the thing is, the minimum space that I would probably say,
5
and I'm
miles.
talking.
I don't want anyone.
I'm
near me.
talking the
Get
minimum,
away.
bare minimum, 150 yards.
Yeah. Yes.
I usually would push it and give people about 250 yards to 400 yards.
Yep.
But yeah, minimum, if there's literally nowhere else to go, try and push 150 yards away.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably 75% of the public land hunts I've had this year, I've had people within 70 yards of me.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's bad for multiple reasons. One, if you set up that close to someone, your calling can mess them up. Or so I'm gonna phrase it this way: if someone sets up that close to you, their calling can mess you up. Their decoy spread can mess you up. Their shooting can mess you up.
There's just a lot of
I've had
things.
times where people set up so close to me that they're shooting over my decoys and birds that I'm working. And that's just not cool.
Yeah, it's
That
not.
is
just
a big sin of public waterfowl hunting.
It is. And again, not trying to bash you guys if you guys have done this before.
Yeah.
Just try and follow that 150 yard motto.
So what would you say to do to someone? They go out, they set up on time, but they didn't know there was someone 50 yards away from them until shooting light.
Odds are, if you have something like that happen, you'll know they're there. They'll either flash you with their flashlight,
And if they don't,
they'll say something. But if they don't,
more times than not, I found if they don't, they probably knew you were there
and they
and
just
snuck in on you.
yeah,
I've had that happen a lot of times.
yeah,
People, they see your light and then they immediately turn theirs off because they know where they want to be and they know if they get too close that you're going to tell them not to be there. So they're like, oh, I don't care. I'm just going to turn my light off and sneak on in there without them knowing the shooting light's going to come. They're not going to want to move. I'm not going to move.
yeah.
So
I guess-
just don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. And if you're on the other end, then I guess biggest tip of advice would be just don't say anything to them. If they start trying to get confrontational, grab your stuff and just go to a different spot.
Always be the
Always have
bigger
a backup
person.
plan. Yeah, because
Ducks are amazing and
it's not
so
worth
fun.
getting shot over.
It's not worth it's hardly worth even getting
Fighting
super
about.
heated
Yeah.
over, like it's an amazing sport and we all love it and it's what we're passionate about, but it's never worth,
Somebody getting shot over.
yeah.
But anyway, number 2.
Number 2,
Let's get into the second sin
which is going to
of
be
public hunting.
sky busting,
Yep.
sky blasting, shooting birds that are a mile high.
Whatever you like to call it.
Yeah.
We just
sky
call it
blasting.
sky busting.
So, if you don't know what that is, it's shooting birds at an unreasonable distance or an unreasonable height, thinking that you can shoot them. I mean, there are some cases, though, this is where it gets tricky, where there's like a single goose coming over, and he's like, seems like he's way up there, and someone just gets lucky and plucks him out of the sky.
Yep.
At the same time, though, if those birds are like that, unless they're beelining somewhere, you might have a chance to work them and get a better, more ethical shot. Say someone's working birds and there's a group that flies over you at 100 yards high and you shoot at them, you could screw up the birds that they're working, So all around, there's just not a whole lot of benefit to sky busting, like for you or for anyone else that's around you. It's just not a good thing to do. It's not a good habit to pick up.
Yeah, you just got to think about it this way. If you've got a group of birds 60 yards above you, the odds of you getting one are low, let alone getting more than one.
Yeah.
So if you give those birds time to work, then you might get a lot more than you would if you just sky busted.
Or if those birds don't work and they're on their way to somewhere,
Then-
2 things. 1, there might be more groups that come around that do want to work. Because more often than not, that happens. There's usually not one group that flies over. 2, find out where they're going, because if they're that dedicated to going somewhere, they know where they want to be.
Yep.
So that's when you got to be like, these birds aren't going to work. Instead of shooting at them and educating them and scaring them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find where they're going. Because another thing with sky busting is, you know, the odds of you shooting those birds are super low. So what you're going to do is just educate them more. They're going to become more wary. And we have stretches of the season, if not the majority of the season, that we're hunting the same birds, you know, like from September to
November,
mid-November, end of November, we were hunting the same geese.
Yep.
Like, we did not have any migrants. They were all locals. So, like, the more people shoot at them, not shoot them, the more people shoot at them, just the harder they're going to be for everybody.
Yep.
Everybody in the picture to, you know, have success with.
Yeah.
So, sky busting all around, that's one of my least favorite as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the third sin of public hunting, that would be excessive calling or poor calling.
Yeah.
Now, let me remind you, if you aren't the best at calling, I'm in no way, shape, or form bashing you. You're pretty good at calling, though. I mean,
yeah, but
it at least sounds like birds.
Yeah.
So
I can work birds.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't even sound like a duck or even sound like a goose, just...
The marsh is not the time to practice.
Yeah, the marsh is not the time to practice because you're going to get people mad at you. You're going to flare birds. You're just going to have a lot happen.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when I had first started duck hunting, I didn't even bring a call.
Yeah.
I threw out decoys, and I think I brought a drake whistle. That's what I had.
Yeah.
I brought a drake whistle.
If you don't know how to blow a hen mallard call super well, a drake whistle is a great tool.
Yep.
It's the easiest call to blow, the easiest call to sound good on, and I mean it's realistic and birds work to it.
Yeah, I actually don't even bring a drake whistle anymore.
You can do.
I can just do it without it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you can do.
It's that easy. You
a
can
drake mallard, a pintail, a widgeon, a wood duck really quietly if you really want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a great tool to have.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So that's another option. But yeah, so excessive calling on public land already. Those birds are going to be more pressured than birds you're hunting on private land. So they're not nearly going to be as responsive to calls in the first place. If they're going to want to work, they're going to want to work. Typically, unless you have fresh birds that are just newly migrated in, calling isn't going to do a whole lot if they're not already wanting to work. If they're wanting to work and, you know, you give them a little talky talk, I think it can help add to it. But if they're not going to want to work,
they're just not going to want to work.
Calling's not going to do a lot.
Exactly. During teal season, I didn't even have a call.
Yeah, I mean,
I had a green wing whistle, but I didn't ever blow it because we were just shooting blue wings.
Yep.
So I just threw out decoys and just let them work.
Yeah.
The mojos are probably more effective than calling anyway during teal season.
And and you can mess up birds that are working in the marsh. You know, if your calling is off, and that it really hurts hurts your hunt more than it hurts other people, just because they don't travel, like the sound doesn't travel super far, so it really just hurts your success more than everyone else's. And here's the thing: if you're not confident in your duck calling abilities, not just how you sound, but your ability to read birds and understand when to call and how to call, just leave it at home. I mean, because you're probably going to mess up your hunt or mess up birds that want to work if you're talking to them the wrong way. So, yeah, that's number 3. Yeah. So, number 4.
That's you.
Well, I don't remember what number 4 was. I thought you had it pulled up.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, so those are the first 3.
Well, just think. What's one of the main things that...
Oh, no, okay, I know what it is. Yeah. Showing up at shooting light or past shooting light. And I know what the 5th one is too.
Okay.
So showing up at shooting light or past shooting light, there are so many times where I am out there at shooting light and I'll have a group of guys walk right past me.
Yep.
Like literally 10 yards behind me to get to someplace they're going. Mm-hmm. And it's like, sometimes I've been working birds. And guys are just walking through, the birds see them and they're like, yeah, no. And they're gone. So that, and then obviously that hurts your chances of success too, because, you know, shooting light's 30 minutes before sunrise. And so if you're not out there at that time, most birds are going to start flying even before that. So you want to be out there and set up and have all your ducks in a row, no pun intended. You want to have everything set up, a good, at least, you want to be ready to go at least 30 minutes before shooting light.
And the one thing I will add on to that, be aware of your state's laws, because for Ohio at least, during early teal season,
it's sunrise.
It is sunrise. It is not 30 minutes before.
Yep.
It is sunrise to sunset. And during regular duck season, I've ran into people who think that it's 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, but it is not.
So many people think
at least in Ohio. It's 30 minutes before during regular duck season, and sunlight, sunset is the second.
It's cut off.
You cannot shoot after sunset.
Yep.
But
and teal, it's funny because teal, I understand why they do it. It's for identification purposes because of all the wood ducks we have around during that time of year. And they look like teal sometimes. But it's funny because teal fly earlier than pretty much any duck. Mm-hmm. So the majority of them are already flying around 30 minutes before sunrise, which is annoying. But most of the time what will happen is you'll have birds flying everywhere like 30 minutes before sunrise, and then they'll just sit in your decoys until shooting light, and then usually fly away like 2 minutes before.
Yeah, like a minute or two right before shooting light.
Before shooting light, they're like, no.
So I think, speaking of duck identification, now's a good time to introduce our new segment. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be having a new segment. It's going to kind of be random, but it's going to be a duck identification quiz.
Yep. We're going to start that in the following weeks. We're not going to start it this episode.
Yeah.
But we're going to start that in the following weeks. And basically, it's just going to be a segment where we're going to pull up some, I don't even know what
just
exactly, but
some pictures
birds in flight. Yeah. Some, quick clips, and it's just kind of like a game, You guys can just watch the bird. We came up with this idea because we wanted to find some kind of ID quiz just to see how we were. Yeah, just to see how we were. And we looked all over YouTube, and there was nothing.
There was
nothing that was worth, any time. Yeah. So we were like, maybe we should start doing this on the podcast, throw in like a little 3 to 5 minute segment where we show you guys some birds. And then after the clip, we give you a little time to think about what it was, answer it to yourself, or put it in the comments. And then boom, we'll show you the answer at the end. Just so you know, we can keep everyone's identification skills sharp. And I don't know, I think it'll be fun. I think people will enjoy it. So we're going to start that here in the coming weeks. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, so don't walk in late. Don't show up late.
Nope.
Be there early, especially public land. If you want a spot, you got to get there early.
Yep.
You can't get there at shooting light and expect to be where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and with that being said, the fifth sin of public land duck hunting would be shells and trash. Make sure you clean up after yourself.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is. If you have any sort of trash or if you have any shot shells, take them with you. Yeah. Don't leave them out there.
Yep.
Just
this is
respect.
This is our public land that we have the opportunity to hunt, and it is our job as hunters to respect that space, keep it clean, pick up after yourself, maintain it. I've gone out to so many public places and just seen wrappers and shells and bottles everywhere, and it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I see that, I do my best to pick everything up, just because it's a great opportunity that we have as hunters to have public land that's available to us to hunt, and we need to treat it well and take care of it. So that's one of the biggest things, in my opinion, is just pick up after yourself. It's not that hard to put shells in the boat or the sled or whatever, or in your blind bag. Don't just take your wrappers off your food and throw them in the water. It takes 2 seconds to put it in your bag.
Just put it in your bag, throw it in your sled, do something with it. Just don't leave it out
and not
there.
Cleaning up after us. That's what gives hunters a bad look. You don't want to be the reason that hunters have a bad rap. So that's a big thing. I have one more I'm going to add on. I know we said 5, but I have
another one that I kind of want to. It's not really it's just something quick.
So this applies to if you're hunting. This is more like for your success more than messing up what other people are doing. But one of the biggest things is wearing black
And orange.
or orange.
Yeah.
I have seen a few people duck hunting in blaze orange before. And
so, fun fact, you don't have to wear blaze orange when you're duck hunting. That's just for pheasants and deer.
In fact, waterfowl have
During gun
insane vision, and I mean, they would see you from a mile away.
Yep.
So one of the biggest things about duck hunting is the concealment part of it. You know, just making sure they don't see you, because if you're working birds, more often than not, if they decide to not come in, it is because they saw you.
Yep.
And with that being said, also black is not a good color to wear. That sticks out like a sore thumb in the marsh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say his name, but we were hunting with somebody in November,
I have had
October.
good. Yeah, I have had good hunts when people have like a black hoodie on.
Yeah.
You just have to be in the right like environment.
Yeah.
If you're hunting in timber,
I mean, we weren't
fine.
we weren't in super concealed.
Yeah, we were in
cattails,
the middle of a marsh.
And every group of birds we worked just flared once they got to like 50 yards, and they're like,
But
you learn.
But you live and you learn.
You rip their butts, and then everyone learns.
So the one thing I did want to say, I've been seeing this on TikTok a lot. I'm sure if you have TikTok, you've probably seen videos like this too. And if you don't know what TikTok is, look it up. So I've seen a lot of guys who have shot a bird and it was crippled, and instead of just wringing its neck and just putting it out of its misery, they like pick it up and start like holding it and petting it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's same thing with, I'm sure you guys have seen the guys who absolutely just football launch fish. Like, just let them go. Just put them back in the water, or duck wise, just put them out.
Yep.
Don't sit there and play with them.
Finishers
They're not a
are
toy.
great tools. I got a finisher this year, and I've used it on
Really?
almost every crippled duck I have, and it's like
Yeah,
that.
just don't make them suffer. That's cruel.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the questions for the week.
Let's do the 3 questions for
We have
this
some
week.
good ones. So I'm going to go with this one first. This is from Copus10. If you had one state to hunt for the rest of your life, what state would it be?
Ooh,
That's a great question.
that is a really good question.
I think I know my answer.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear.
I haven't hunted here. If it's somewhere I've hunted, my answer would be Texas.
Kansas.
I mean, yeah, Kansas. Sorry,
Kansas for me.
100% Kansas. I agree. But if I could only hunt one state, no, you know what? It would be Kansas. I was gonna say Alaska, but that'd be too cold. But the amount of birds there and the variation of birds, I feel like would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
To hunt there, but it might get too cold. I think Kansas. I've only been there once this past year, but the experience I had was phenomenal. And I know they get a lot of birds there, right in the middle of the Central Flyway, and
A lot.
it's a pretty good state for waterfowl hunting. So
I think for me, I would for places I have hunted, Kansas for sure. Places that I haven't hunted, I'd probably say Arkansas or Louisiana or
yeah.
some place like that where they just get an absurd amount of birds.
Here's the thing about Louisiana. I'm not saying this from personal experience, but people that I know that hunt there, they don't get birds until December.
Yeah, it's late. They get birds late.
They
Yeah.
don't get birds at all until December.
I've heard a lot of people go to Venice Beach for teal season,
Really?
just because that's where the teal are. But yeah,
So, okay, next question. This is from Junga Schick. Dry fields or water?
ooh,
This is a very, very tough question.
that is because there's just a certain feeling shooting ducks over dry land,
Yeah.
and there's a certain feeling of shooting geese over water.
Yeah, that is true.
There's just
It's tough because
it depends, I
they
guess.
work completely differently.
And I guess that's kind of what makes you and I a good dynamic duo because you do a lot of field hunting.
Yeah.
And I do almost no field hunting.
Well, I
love water hunts.
I do a lot of field hunting. I probably do more water hunting than field hunting, though.
Yeah. You definitely do more field hunting than I do. I just never have really
Dream
done
hunt. Widgeons in a field with mountains in the background. Once that hunt happens, there's nothing else that I'm going to experience in my entire life that'll be better than that. Ever. Period. Just widgeons in a field with mountains.
No, you guys just wait. Wait till he gets his widgeon mount.
Oh, man.
He won't stop talking about it.
All right, so next question. This will be the last one. Oh, man, there's some good ones in here. That one is kind of controversial. Okay, no, we'll do it.
I haven't seen any of these.
We'll do it.
What is it?
Full bodies or dive bomb silhouettes?
Both. That's my answer.
Both. I don't even own full bodies.
I do.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I run only silhouettes.
Mm-hmm. So.
And like mentioned before, I field hunt a lot more than he does.
Yeah. So ironically, whenever I go on field hunts with Grant, I'm always bringing like a half dozen full bodies and a half dozen shells.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just spread those out, it just gives your spread a whole nother level of depth.
Yeah.
And it just, I think.
I've hunted fields by myself though, and all I bring are dive bombs. Just the compactness and the realism and how many you can fit in a bag. Like that's what I was going to say. It's like 3 dozen silhouettes are the size of one full body.
Right.
The size and weight of one full body.
Right.
And it's just crazy. If
you had to pick one dive bomb.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. If I could only pick one, it would definitely be silhouettes.
Because I mean, you can get silos and you can get socks.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
The socks can kind of act as full bodies.
Socks, however, they're way less effective on big geese. Honkers aren't a big fan of socks. Lessers go crazy over them. Snows go crazy over them. Honkers though, silhouettes. That's all I need.
Yep, silos are
all I need.
Yeah,
and I'll kill them all day long.
Yep.
So yeah, I think about it like if you're hunting and you want to bring 10 dozen
and
decoys.
For the price. For the price.
Absolutely.
For half dozen full bodies, I think I paid $160.
Yeah, $200 for like a half dozen.
For a half dozen, and then you can get
for 200
5
for
dozen?
$200. For $200, you could get around 3 dozen. Dive bombs.
For about so give or take the same price that you'd pay for a half dozen full bodies.
You could get 2 dozen.
You could get 2 dozen silhouettes.
Yep. Yeah, and
I think I'm gonna go with the silhouettes.
And if you're wanting to, say you're hunting a big field with thousands of geese, and you're wanting to bring 50 dozen decoys. If you're bringing 50 dozen full bodies, you need a semi truck for that.
Yeah, no kidding.
But 50 dozen silhouettes, I could almost put that in my truck.
Yeah, I could. No, we could put that in the truck.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because 100%. You could put 50 dozen in the truck. So
they come in those really nice bags, and you can put 5 dozen in there.
Yep.
Yeah,
10 bags.
10 bags. You could for sure put that in your truck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, clear winner. Obviously, for me, it'd be full bodies. Silhouettes all day.
Silhouettes, yeah.
All day long.
Me too. I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
Yep. So those were our questions.
I think with that being said, I think that ends episode 3.
That wraps it up. So
Man,
as
that
always,
was so quick.
Don't forget, first 2 links in the description. Dive Bomb Industries, Last Flight Calls. Hit them up if you haven't already.
Absolutely.
This has been fun.
Yeah, that one went quick.
Another good one. Yeah, it did go quick, but it was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It seemed like so much shorter than it was.
Well,
like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. Notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. We have some good stuff coming.
We do.
We have some good stuff coming. We got some guests coming soon, guys. Here in a few episodes, we're going to have some pretty sweet guests on here, so you're not going to want to miss out on that. But until the next episode.
Peace.